I'll just continue on with the
event. Just keep on with.
So the play was about a man dying of AIDS, and Brenda Edwards directed it brilliantly.
A very young guy.
Of a very young guy who was dying of AIDS. He was dying of AIDS, and in fact died 2 months after the production.
And he played the lead.
He played the lead in it. He played himself.
God.
Again, you talk about some remarkable art forms of, art imitating life, and that was art imitating life right unto death. I remember there was a terrible strain on everyone doing the play. And I remember one night, Brenda and I got in a terrible fight, but you don't do theater without terrible fights.
I'm afraid so.
And like I was telling you earlier, years and years of, there's always a point in a play where you go home and you think, this is impossible. We'll never be able to pull this off. And you do. The other thing I remember about the writer's block, Vince Soren's play, was that it was the first time I experienced hate phone calls. I was like, what? Who is this? And threat and actually death threats. I received a death threat phone call from someone who did not want to see this play go up about a man, a gay man dying of AIDS. So that was a new experience.
Brenda Edwards directed it.
And I think that the one thing in what we talked about earlier, the nature of doing theater of that kind and the relationship with the press, is that I think the press, the real stories that were going on with these kinds of theater events were completely lost in the press.
I know.
They never got...
Kyle Lawson did a wonderful interview of Vince.
Yeah.
But
Kyle,
he did not see the play.
Yeah. But yeah, Kyle, I think Kyle was the one person though in the theater community that did make an attempt to try and find out what the story was. But sometimes the story was almost too much.
Max McQueen is the one critic that always came to every. He was of the
he did.
Mesa Tribune.
Max was great, and he gave us a lot of really positive reviews. But working class plays seemed to really bother him because and it's true that the working class people that ordinarily would come to the play, as he said in one of his reviews, would not be caught dead in a theater. And I think there was...
Oh, by the way, people were interviewing here in the Margaret Hance Park. Homeless are sleeping around us and passing by.
Yeah.
So I think that's appropriate, don't you?
Yes.
But anyway, my play was about the homeless coming off the street. They had a baby, and I didn't want them to have to sleep under a bridge.
Yeah.
But another play that you did while you were there that I got a huge kick out of was The Pig Hunter from Blue River.
And I'm telling you right now on camera, if anybody has the guts to do that play, it's been rewritten to a finely tuned polish. And I wrote the play because I thought, and I'm not really an overly huge horror movie fan, but I like horror films. I loved Rosemary's Baby and films like that. And so I thought, okay, theater is once removed from real life. We watch a horror movie on screen and it's kind of away from you. But I thought, if I do a horror play and it's happening right there in front of you, it would scare you. The funniest story about that play is there was a woman here in town, I won't mention her name, but she used to teach acting here. And one of her acting students was playing the mother. And by the way, the play is about a javelina pigs that ascend on a house of these redneck people living in squalor and begin to attack them in their house.
And their son.
And their son, who was brain damaged because his father had accidentally shot him in the head. So.
And Raymond used to act him.
Yeah.
He had an act.
I love that character. I still is one of my favorite characters.
He was what kind? Brain damaged.
But this woman, this acting teacher, came because one of her students was playing the mother, and she saw the play, and she took her aside after the play, and she said, "You've got to quit this play. This play is conceived by the devil." And I thought, well, that's a pretty high compliment. But it was really, some of it was, from the story when Jesus cast the legion of demons into the swineherd, and then they went running off of the cliff.
The pig gunner, the javelinas.
That was part. So,
and the javelinas were going to attack you.
Exactly. There was a
attack
whole
the people in the house.
There was a whole mixture. That play! I'm telling you, that play. That play has levels to it that I still don't completely get them all.
And you wrote it.
And I wrote it.
Remember, I know Max McQueen, when he said, he reviewed that, he said, and even the people in the pickup trucks were scratching their head when they went home from this play.
Well, and let me tell you, because every play has a certain energy of people, it draws a certain army of people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a very small army.
That love it, huh?
That play...
The rest of the people might hate it.
That play drew the weirdest... It was the weirdest group of people working on a play I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. The guy that did all the sound effects was a drummer from a heavy metal band who just... It was like the most... it was like he was at the height of the pinnacle of his career, doing the sound of the javelina pigs,
yeah.
And shooting the guns, and so yeah.
Oh, it was quite something.
Yeah.
And Alan
Lee played the pig boy Spencer.
Oh yeah, he did a great job.
And so just to give you an example, this relatively normal man asks, because the pig boy's got a rifle, and he says, "What kind of a rifle do you have there, Spence?" And Spence would go, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30. And it would just, gosh. I remember, you didn't know whether to laugh or have the hair raise up on your back.
I remember I said to Raymond, do you think if you do the pig hunter from Blue River, parents are going to let their children continue to come to your theater classes and do Holiday in Hoopersville?
And, well, I want to point out there was I think only one profanity in that play, and I took it out.
Oh.
So that's a play that disturbs without
a profanity.
There's no nudity. There's no profanity. Just
pig hunters, retarded
people living in squalor, brain damaged people, and javelina pigs that you never see on the stage.
Oh, and the girl, what was she? She was pretty wild. The sister,
she got her whole notion of the world outside through a box of old modeling and movie magazines. So.
And here was Raymond, the author of the hugely popular Amy's Attic, which